of these alternative spellings are straightforward. The children need to be taught them and encouraged to blend words that use these new letter sounds. However, some of the alternative spellings need a little more explanation. For example, the first two alternative spellings of A and Oi could be taught together. The children were first taught that this was an A and this was an Oi. And then it could be explained to the children that the letter I does not like to go on the end of English words, so the Y takes its place. I used to do this in a fun way by asking the children to help me to write the word day. So I say, what are the sounds? D, A, that's right. D, and then the A. And then I'd say, oh, children, the letter I is very shy and doesn't like to go on the end of words. So do you know who comes along but Tuffy Y? So the Y takes its place. Now, what are the sounds in toy? T, Oi, that's right. Oh, who doesn't like to go on the end of words? That's right, Shy I. And who comes instead? Tuffy Y. And now we have another way of spelling the A sound, the AY, and another way of spelling the Oi sound, OY. As in these words. Let's have a look here. A. We can do W, A, D, A, crayons, Tuesday, and so on. Or Oi, boy, joy, employ, oyster. More information about the letter Y taking the place of the I is explained later on in the helpful hints. Now here we have another letter Y. The first Y the children learnt was the one with the Y sound, which usually comes at the beginning of words like these. So we've got yes, yell, yap, yank. Now the next one was the Y with an E sound, a longer word, slightly longer words. Story, lorry, foggy. Now the children in step 5 need to know that there's another Y and it has another sound. It is an I sound, as in buy, dry, nylon, shy. The other alternative spelling of the I sound in step 5 is IGH, and this time 3 letters are used to make this sound, which comes in words like these: t-ite, tight, h-I, high, fight, thigh. The O digraph represents 2 very different sounds. It has an O sound, as in these words. So here we've got yellow, pillow, elbow, and so on. And we also have an owl sound, as in these words. So owl, crown, cow, cow, flower. When blending a word with an OW, the children have to try one way, O, and if that doesn't make sense, then they try another way, the ow. For example, if they've got k-o, k-ow, cow makes sense. Here we've got elbow, elbow, that makes sense. So they have to try both ways. The children have used this technique before and should know that they have to ask an adult for the word if neither of the words makes sense. For English-speaking children, the context of what they are reading will guide them to the correct word, as in these sentences. Just imagine the children come to this word, r-o, row, yes, you can row a boat, r-ow, row. Oh, you can have a row with somebody. And actually, it's only the context that will tell them what the meaning of that word is. Here we've got clone, clone, clown, clown. That makes more sense. But really, when it's in the sentence, it's much easier. So we need to row the boat to the other side of the river. Immediately, that makes row the answer. We liked the funny clowns at the circus? And again, clown will be obvious, especially to someone, a child who knows about clowns and circuses. The soft C and soft G need some explanation. Up until now, the letter C has had a K sound. Now the children need to be taught that sometimes it has a S sound. And this usually happens when the letter C is followed by the vowels E, I or Y. So E, I or Y after the C makes it go S. So it's going to be A, S or celery. Now here we've got the I after the C, and so it's going to go S again. Circle, pencil, exciting. And here the Y at the end. After the C, signet, cycle, symbol. It is much the same with the soft G words. Up until now, the letter G has had a G sound. Now the children need to be taught that sometimes it has a J sound. And it is the same E, I or Y after the G that softens it to J. Here we've got the E, I or Y that makes it go J. Here we've got, see, a J. The E is behind it. Huge, gentle, and so on. Here we've got the I behind it, so it's magic, margin, ginger. Here we've got two of them, of course. The I is making it go J, and the E is making it go J. And last of all, the Y behind the G makes it go J. So gymnastics, biology, energy, Egypt. There aren't so many of those, most of them with the E behind it. It doesn't always do it, that's a snag. And look at this frequently used word, get. It should be J, shouldn't it? But it isn't, it's get, and the children have to learn that. But it is very unusual. So it's better that they understand that it usually goes J after those vowels, and then try the other way.